It's an article I found, ALM Think Advisor, right, by Jane Woolman Rusoff. Hopefully, I'm saying that name right. And it's called "Why So Many NFL and NBA Players Go Broke." Right. So it says the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. ABC's Worldwide Sports beamed those dramatic accounts for nearly 4 decades. What they didn't feature was the misery of bankruptcy and the sting of other financial woes. That's what 78% of National Football League players reportedly suffer within 2 years of retirement. Further, about 60% of National Basketball Association players reportedly go broke within 5 years of leaving the court. Today, financial advisors specializing in serving pro athletes are trying to prevent such misfortune. Gerald Graves, executive managing director, West Coast from Boston Private Wealth, is one of them. In an interview with Think Advisor, he describes helping young NFL and NBA players budget their money, recognize outrageous investment pitches, and learn how to best respond to relatives looking for handouts, if not ongoing financial support. So, in the interview, Graves emphasized the need to educate and train them about budgeting, spending, agents' fees, and taxes. We always see where, at least we see actors getting locked up for taxes. That's a huge thing, and entertainers too, right? Will Smith, I'm reading his book Will, and he talks about how he was 3 million behind in taxes. So that taxes is heavy. People have to really keep up with it. Um, but I wanted to highlight this. Why do pro athletes need a financial advisor with expertise working with this client niche? The really talented athlete, the really talented athletes that come out of school will make a life's income in just a few years. But nobody comes out of school ready for making real world financial decisions and tough choices. So the need for guidance and advice is substantial because the sudden wealth can create challenges most people don't have. 78% of NFL players reportedly go bankrupt or severely stressed financially within 2 years after retirement, and about 60% of basketball players are cleaned out within 5 years of leaving the NBA. Do these athletes just blow through their money? It's a little more complicated than they just overspent. It could be a bad investment advice from people they trusted. Another big element is that one of the first things a lot of athletes do is start taking care of family and friends. Divorce is a big impact too. That's why I wanted to point out to about Joe Smith about earlier in his life, not to put him out there, but just to put in the context. This is a brother who's had hardships financially, because here it is, a financial advisor is saying that one of the hardships uh, that they can experience is divorce. Are young athletes hip to what has unfortunately happened financially to many sports stars in the past? More and more, more and more are aware of these really ugly statistics. I think there's a lot more awareness around potentially being taken advantage of. So they tend to be a lot more cautious. But sometimes it's very hard to succumb. It's very hard not to succumb to the temptations. What sorts of temptations? High profile athletes are constantly being asked to invest in things, whether it's private equity, restaurants, who knows what. Charities are also very aggressive. So it's really important to educate them on how to handle this fire hose of attention and how to have conversations with their family about their wealth. Um, yeah. So do you educate them about the quirks of athlete compensation plans? What is your overarching goal as an advisor to pro athletes? It's important to educate them to their own wealth and be responsible for it. It's teaching them to be good financial stewards of their income and helping them achieve their goals through financial plans and sound investment strategies. For a young person that gets a big salary right off the bat and who can potentially retire before the age of 30, there's a whole lifetime of planning to do, which is a hard thing. Now, I just wanted to highlight that because what it says is, you know, Joe is not an anomaly. He's actually uh, the norm, right? We're always shown people like Magic Johnson, how he's just touched billionaire status. Michael Jordan, how he touched it a few years ago. LeBron James, how he's a billionaire. We look at, I think, I don't know who else is a billionaire. I don't know if Derek Jeter's a billionaire, but nonetheless, we're shown these images, these people, but very rarely are we shown the Allen Iversons, the guys who struggle, the Antoine Walkers. That's more or less the norm. That's the reality of it. Now, why is that important to this discussion as far as financial literacy and how, or financial hardships and how it affects the Black community? Well, it affects us because, as we saw with the numbers of women being the breadwinner, if there is not an understanding, if there's not a team effort between man and woman, then things that when they get out of hand, they can wreak havoc on a relationship. Like the article said, it's not about how much you make, it's about um how it's managed. So obviously, I'm assuming that Joe's money wasn't managed well, and he probably didn't have the financial literacy to even know to manage it well. Because how do I know that? Because in our community, we're not taught financial literacy, right? We're not taught these things. That's something that we should be teaching our